Unfortunately, my childhood wasn't the best. I come from a not so good childhood. I remember being sent to school with like no shoes on and snowing, and at the school bus, waiting with one shoe on and one shoe off. And there were things that were being done to me that my mom, I resented her a lot for it. And before she passed away, I remember she told me like she was so sorry for everything. And I didn't understand it, but I forgave her. I had to fill my cup somehow, and that was trading. I marked up like 60 charts, and I want to say like I only got 3 that didn't play out. One thing my mentor always said was, don't worry about news. It always works for us. So I went and broke it down. I backtested every news event, years. I even do all of the presidencies. So I compare a Democrat in office compared to a Republican in office. It literally makes the same behavioral patterns almost every time. Like I know when there's like a no rate cut, it consolidates. So if there's no rate cut, I'm not trading. I know this based off of what I have backtested. Yeah, I make money. Like how you think I bought this car? How you think teaching paid me that? No. It did not. I feel like this was my outlet. Like this was my therapy. This was my way to do something for me, because at this point I'm pouring into everybody else. We have a tendency to keep asking God for this, when the resources are already here. Like if you really believe in what you want to do, doors will open. Period. The resources are here, but you have to believe in it first. They don't like my confidence.
I don't care what they like. This is Calvin's show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Forex Broker podcast. It's your boy Calvin here. I'm super excited. We have a special guest in the building. I'm super appreciative for her really just being direct. Like, yo, I'm open to pull up. I'm new to the interview scene, but I got a lot to say. I got a lot of value to add. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast for the first time, and definitely this won't be the last time because we just gonna have a great conversation. Jess Ramos. What's up, Jess?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Are you nervous?
I'm very nervous.
Okay, talk to me about what is life like now? You're a trader, you're a mom, your boys are getting older now. What is life like for you now?
Life is about them. Like, to be honest, life is about just focusing on their talents, focusing on what they're good at, making sure that I invest in that so that they can progress in life and not have to go through like the same struggles like I went through and my family before. So I feel like trading I'm the one that's breaking the barrier now. You know what I mean? So life is good.
That's so dope. Tell me about like your upbringing. You as the same age as your children, 9 and 11. So you at that age, like what was that like for you? Because you come off, like I told you, you got a direct energy.
Yeah.
You are very straightforward. You are very direct.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Don't mess with me.
That is like, you like one of the homies. Like I get that vibe. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I have statistically always have been everybody's big sister.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, my childhood wasn't the best. I come from a not so good childhood, period, and bounced a lot between homes and was taken in by my godmom, shout out to her, who has a teaching background and worked in New York in one of the roughest schools as a guidance counselor and a 6th grade teacher. So she took me in for a while, and I got to see a lot just throughout my childhood. And she was the first person that ever showed me love. Wow. She was the first person that said, hey baby, come here, or let me give you a hug, let me tell you I love you. And that was pivotal for me, because I think that if I didn't have that, if my mom didn't send me to her, I don't think I would be the person, the mom that I am today. So she saved my life. I don't know how else to say it, but she saved my life. This is the first time I ever tell anybody this. So you get it exclusively. Shout out to her. I love you.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was it. I went back with my mom. My mom asked for another chance, and my mom proved herself. She was a single mom, taking care of 2 kids. She invested in my career as a ballet dancer. So she got me into ballet, and I was very successful with that. And from there, life was good. I've always been a hard worker, been working since I was 12. So I've always worked 1 job, 2 jobs, went to school, whatever. I've always worked hard. So I feel like everything that I've had, I've worked for. It has never been given to me. And that could be why I'm very direct and strong, because I feel like if anyone just applies their energy or Like, they just have to put the energy towards it and know that it's going to happen. Like, there are no other options. Like, there's no other option. And I try to instill that in people. And sometimes it can be perceived as being a little too direct. Some people say, look, I needed that. So it comes from that background. I am from New York.
Oh yeah.
I'm from New York.
I can hear it.
I lived in the South, though. I love the South. So I do love the South. I've lived in the South for quite some time. So I feel like I got the best of both worlds.
For sure. So as a mother now, you have 2 boys.
Yeah.
How much can you now look back and just respect that decision that your mom made when you were younger?
Oh, you know how to ask questions. I think when she passed away is when I realized that she did what she could with the resources that were given to her in her situation. And I resented her a lot for it. And before she passed away, I remember she told me like she was so sorry for everything. And I didn't understand it, but I forgave her. But as the years have gone by, I'm like, she saved my life. Like, she was saving me from a very bad situation that she couldn't get me out of, or she couldn't get herself out of in time. So she was trying to save me at least. And I didn't see it that way. I saw it as if she didn't want me. I mean, I literally had to, I'll never forget, I was 5 years old and it was Christmas and I was told I cannot have a gift because I didn't have green eyes, which my sister has we have different father, green eyes. I remember being sent to school with like no shoes on and snowing, and at the school bus, waiting with one shoe on and one shoe off. And, like there were things that were being done to me that my mom, like, I'm just so grateful. Like, I'm grateful. Didn't understand it then, but I'm grateful now.
That is beautiful. I hate to bring these podcasts back to me,
Yeah.
but that really, it really opened up a perspective for me, because my mother was essentially given away by her biological mom. And she was given to my grandfather's wife at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I never knew this. So I grew up and the grandmother I saw was my grandmother,
Yeah.
and that's all I knew. And then around the age of maybe 13, 14, my uncle, which I always wondered like why my mother never spoke to my uncle and why this uncle of mine was never really around, but he used to always come by and my grandmother would tell my mother, let him spend time with him. And I used to always wonder why that dynamic was there.
Yeah.
So one day my uncle takes me to this lady's house and he's like, look, this is your biological grandmother. This is your mother's biological mother.
Wow.
And I met her and I held that, like, it wasn't aggressive resentment.
Yeah.
But inside, like, I always felt like, how could she do that to my mom?
Yeah.
She's not my real grandmother, right? And until you just said that, literally, I understand it now. Like, me asking you that question, hearing your story, I can understand. It takes a real mother, someone that really loves you, to hand you to somebody else because they know
it's not easy.
that it's the best situation for you.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And I didn't understand it for many years. Like,
I didn't understand it. And it's crazy because you literally just opened it up for me, because I literally, like, I did have some resentment toward my biological grandmother, because I'm like, man, like, because I'm a dad now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
There's no way.
Yes,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
But we've never faced the things that they faced.
That's true. And one thing I realized is that she made sure to put me in a position where I didn't have to be in where she was. And I didn't understand that. You understand? Like, it was like you were looking out for me. You wanted me to become greater than what you are. You did what you could with your situation. So she had lots of trauma within her family. So stuff I found out when she passed away that I just don't understand how she ended up becoming the best one in the family. The most civil, the most educated, she had her stuff together, and I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. But, she put me to be in a better position. And, as kids, we always want to sit there and roll our eyes at our parents like they're supposed to know better, or like, why don't you, like, it's common sense, or why would you do this? They sacrificed so that we could have that knowledge. Like, that was the purpose, for you to become smarter, for you to become greater. And that is our job to do with our kids. And they're going to experience that. They're going to get frustrated with us sometimes for not getting things. But that's the point. That is evolving. If you're doing the right job as a parent, that is what growth is about. And that is breaking, like, those generational curses. And I felt like The other day I said my mom created the GOAT. It had nothing to do with trading. She created the one person that is breaking this toxic barrier in that family. And my kids are now, they're reaping the benefits of it. So like, God is good.
He is good. Come on now. We both about to start tearing
I
up
told
in
you
this
I have
joint
to bring
for
the
real.
Kleenex.
We
I've
both.
never been this transparent. I have never
but that
been.
hit me, like that hit home for me, like really, really, just, it's crazy, man, because like I've never, my wife is a therapist, and like I have a rule, like don't do therapy on me unless I come to you, right? So like that's my rule in the house. But I've never, like, she's always seen how like just guarded I was.
Yeah.
Like whenever that conversation would get brought up about my biological grandmother, but she never pushed on it, right? And so I think like having this natural conversation, like sometimes you have to see somebody else's situation that is really your situation and speak on it from the outside view.
It's therapy within
like
itself.
in order to see, oh, that's really me though. That's my situation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right, Calvin's wife. You can talk to him now.
She can talk to me now. She gonna watch this and be like, wow.
You see, I
that's
knew this
good.
all along.
Yeah. She gonna be like, that was good. That was good. It always happens that way too.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
at least for me.
Yeah, it always happens that way. So we look at your life, right? Just early on, having, a change of environment, and just having to be independent, learn independence very, very early.
Yeah.
Let's talk about now just what your work life was like. You said that sometimes you would have 2 jobs or maybe 3 jobs, right? So like, what was that like?
Oh my gosh. So I moved out very early. I graduated early, went to college, graduated college early, about 16, 17. So I was growing up faster, and it took a very important person in my life. Shout out to Danelle and Ginger. They took me in because I wanted out of a situation. And she was a property manager. She got me into property management. I'm going to talk about property management because my other jobs were like, I was young. This is like, I'm 18. I'm stepping into real adulthood now. And property management changed my life. So they put me in a position where I could get an apartment with 50% off. They put me in, at the time, rent was only like $550, So, it was, I'll never forget. If you're from Orlando, my first apartments were right on Millennium Boulevard. So, I had 50% off rent. I was a little sales girl leasing apartments to people, but it opened my eyes. They had me working in a predominantly Spanish community. Now, I'm Puerto Rican, but I don't speak Spanish.
You don't speak Spanish?
I don't.
You are kidding.
Unfortunately. I'm sorry, y'all. But I read, I write, I understand it, and I can cook it. So I'm there,
Yeah.
But they put me in a property that was like 97% Spanish speaking. And I was just like, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to make commissions? Like, how is this supposed to work? And the girl next to me was making so much money, and my little commission checks were so like bad. I was like, oh no, this has got to change. And at that point, I realized that I had to become a chameleon to be successful. I had to push myself through barriers that were uncomfortable to be successful. So I started making my residents, I would say, you talk to me in Spanish, because they understood English. And I said, I'll speak to you in English when they would give me maintenance requests. And then you yell at me if he doesn't do what you want. So they would come back and they'd be like, you did it right. You did it right. Like, you did good. You did good. Or no, you didn't get it right this time. So I would use that feedback to, again, try to understand. Within 6 months, I became I was the only person that grossed $1 million in sales in GPR.
Wow.
And I didn't speak Spanish, but I was in a Spanish speaking.
Predominantly.
Yeah.
All
But
your
to the point where they loved me. Like, they loved me. So that right there changed the game for me, because at that point, there was no impossible. You know what I mean? Like, again, it goes to putting in the work. So I've always had that instilled in me. And then I got promotions and traveled and became a property manager. And all you do is solve problems all day. That's all you do, and deal with finances and budgets and making things better. That's all you do. So my job, as stressful as it was very rewarding. And all I did was fix things. So it made me feel like I had a purpose. And that was able to transfer over to what I'm doing now, because number one, I love teaching. I love giving people their aha moment, you know, putting those pieces together and having them smile. Like it's customer service, whether we want to agree with it or not. And those problem solving skills also applied to my trading. Like,
That's so
so
dope.
yeah, I worked multiple jobs. I used to I used to bartend too as a second job.
I can see that.
I like money. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
keep it real. So I used to bartend at the clubs here. I used to bartend at golf clubs. I used to make like $5,000 a weekend.
You're a hustler.
I am. And I was 18, you know, like
Yeah.
I've never seen this type of money. So for me, it was just like, if this is what I got to do to live the life I want, I like nice places, I like nice cars, then this is what I got to do, you know?
That's
so,
dope.
yeah.
So I can definitely see property management.
Yeah.
Because you got to have thick skin to be a property manager.
Shout out to all the property managers. You are
Yeah.
a real one. You are. Anyone in the resident property management business, you are a real one.
Yes. When I used to rent, when we would move to a new like rental or a new community, like I would always get like a Starbucks card or something to
Yeah.
take to the property manager, like just to, you know, let them know like, hey, listen, like I know what you do is tough, and maybe you've had to deal with me on the wrong day, or you had to deal with my wife on the wrong day.
No, but that goes
we
a long
appreciate
way.
you, for
Yeah.
sure, for
See,
sure.
we like people like you.
It's a tough job, but also I want them to, you know what I'm saying, you know, that last inspection, I want them to look out. You know what I mean? We want to get a little bit of that deposit
want the
back too.
deposit
You know?
back.
Yeah. We want to get a little bit of that back too. So it goes both ways, but I can definitely see you doing property management. When you said that, I was like, yeah.
Oh, and I've worked
for
the
sure.
most challenging areas. If you're from Orlando, I was on Balboa, so if you already know, I've been there, and then I've been in A+ property. So I've got like the best of both worlds. And again, that's that chameleon personality. If you want to succeed, you don't judge your customer, you don't judge your client. It's all about adaptability and relatability. That's
facts.
it. So
Same thing with trading.
that's why
You gotta adapt.
that's why I'm good at it.
Ooh,
Nah.
okay, so let's get into that. All right, so where were you in life when trading just showed up at your doorstep?
So trading was definitely by mistake.
Okay, talk to
It
me.
was not something that I wanted to get into. My oldest had medical needs, and it was interfering with property management to the point where they were like, look, you know, we're trying to be as flexible as possible, but it's not going to work. And I tried other careers. I had sold flooring for a little bit. That gave me like a flexible schedule. But it wasn't working. It just wasn't working with his needs at the time. I had lots of PT, OT, doctor's appointments. Like, it just wasn't working. And it took actually a guy from Orlando named Jeff. He was I had an e-com business, and he knew about that. And he was like, you know, you should look into trading. And I was like, yeah, you know, okay. But I've always loved numbers. I love numbers. I love math. So I'm like, okay, well, is it math related? And he was like, well, kinda, not really. But he showed me like he made like $26,000, and it was live. Like he did it in 1 week. And I was like, he's like, I really think you could do this. Like, and I was like, I don't know about that, you know? And he was like, no, I really think. And he's like, I'm not the type to reach out to someone. And he's not. So he put me in touch with his mentor, who is Roy, the Coin FX. I always want to make sure I give him a shout out. And he interviewed me, and he took me in as a student. And I know that till this day, nobody teaches like Roy.
Wow.
Nobody.
Not even you.
No. We're different types of teaching, but what I mean as far as like his trading IQ is just, it's beautiful. Like, I don't even know what else to say. It's the most beautiful. I've never seen anyone trade as good as him, period.
Wow.
And he's one of the originals. Like, he's been around way before a lot of these big dogs have been around. And I'm glad that was my first training. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad. So he taught me swing trading, which was great because it allowed me to be there for my boys. And I wasn't sitting there on the charts every day. I was waiting patiently for a setup, and then I was riding it out for a week, 2 weeks, and it was just paying me money. So it worked. And at the time, I'm gonna be honest, I've always made good money. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was in a situation. But at the time, money was getting tight.
You can feel it.
Yeah. So like, you can have money saved up. When you start spending, and then you see your account dwindle down and those commas go away, and it's like, oh crap. So then it got to a point where I was like, okay, like I really need to take this seriously. And when I made my first 20 grand, I paid off all my debt. Like, I've always wanted good credit. That was it. I hate being told no, you know, and that was one thing that I wasn't smart with. I was not, no matter how much money I made, I wasn't smart with that. So I knew this time in my life, like I wanted to buy whatever car I wanted. I did not want to be told no. So that first profit went straight to debt. So it started there. And then I realized that, wow, I could do this, and I'm making more money.
So how long have you been on this journey? Like from now to when you started, like how many years has it been?
Next month is 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
And that 20K, that first 20K that paid off that debt, how quick did you amass that amount?
It wasn't quick. It took me with the education process. Education was 8 months and 5 months, so about 13 months.
That's good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That's
for
really
me,
good.
it wasn't. Because I'm used to quick money.
Yeah. And what did you start with? Like, what was the starting balance?
$200.
Are you serious?
I promise you. Everybody keeps asking me that. I'm
what
like,
were you
$200.
trading? Let's get into this. Listen, let me tell you this. Hold up. So this is the Forex Beginner Podcast, right? We love the audience, and I love my people, right?
Yeah.
But this is Calvin and Jess talking.
Yeah, no,
so
I got you.
I ain't worried about no opinions. I ain't worried about what nobody got to say. I'm getting this game right here.
Well, and the strategy,
you know what I mean? This for Calvin.
So look, the strategy is on my Twitter for free. It's pinned. I've given it out for free. Okay. So.
All right. So what were you trading? Let's get into it. I just wanted to lay that out there.
Yeah, it was
you
GA.
Know what I mean?
I was trading GBP AUD.
Okay.
And it's so funny because everybody talks about how you have to be up during London session. I never was up during London session. I found my entry during Tokyo session. I put my limit order in based off the strategy that I learned. And that's it. I had my stop loss. And that was it. And then for my swing trade, it'd take a while for it to play out. But I would also compound. So where I was making the money at was while my swing trades were playing out, every time the 4 hour was creating new structure, I was compounding and adding positions until it went to my higher time frame level. That's what I did. And I knew that it moved on certain days. So I would go to sleep and I would wake up either in profit or not. And my risk, I only had 35 pips to make 177 pips, which I still do to this day. So GA is Bay, and GA is what made me my money. I didn't just do one swing because I was starting with a small account. So you have to compound so you can add that equity, get more margin. You know, that's what I had to do. And it was nice. I didn't trade gold. I didn't trade any of the stuff that everybody else traded. I remember I tried to dabble into gold and I was highly intimidated. And I was like, no, I'm not touching it. But GA, for some reason, aligned with what I learned. And it just worked every single time. Even the girls that I traded with, shout out to Ziska and Crystal, we made a little group. And we all were getting into the same trades. The other one, Crystal was a property manager. Ziska, she has like a high profile job. And we were realizing that we were in profit or loss by the time we woke up to go to work.
Man, that's crazy.
So yeah, $200. Same thing with stock options, $200. $200.
$200.
I promise you, yes.
Built up over 13 months.
Yeah. 5 months. So it was 8 months of learning, 5 months
so
of
5 months to build at the 20K.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible. And I want to add, I was doing this while my mom was terminally ill with cancer and I was taking care of her.
You had all of this emotion as well.
Yeah. And my son, his medical condition was not fun. So it was a lot. I don't know how I did it. Normally I tell my students, like, while you mentally are going through stuff, don't do it. I feel like this was my outlet. Like this was my therapy. This was my way to do something for me because at this point I'm pouring into everybody else. And I wasn't even able, like I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't do nothing for me. So this was the only thing that I could do that I had to fill my cup somehow. And that was trading.
That's phenomenal, Jess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess, you know, like I don't want to sound like, yeah, it is, you know, like.
No, it is. Listen, it really is. And you got to toot your own horn. Like you have to.
You know, they don't like my confidence.
I don't care what they like. This is Calvin's show.
But yeah, that's true.
I don't care. This is for me. And the people that rock with this show, they're in the position where they're watching because they need some motivation.
Yeah.
They need to hear something. They need to hear somebody speak into their situation. They're not here to.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And I think that we have the tendency to portray it as being easy. Like right now, I could say trading is easy. Yeah, because of everything that I've gone through. But it's hard. Like trading tests you on so many levels. Trading Like, you got to be strong. This is not for the weak. You have to be willing to fail over and over and over again, but you can't sit there and be the victim of it. You got to go back and dissect, where did it go wrong? I'm missing something. Something is not aligning. So if you're able to do that, you will succeed. Like, you will succeed without a doubt. But if you sit here and play the victim to every loss, this is not for you.
It's not for you.
It's not. And that's okay. That's okay. Go find something else.
Yeah. Well, so was it, Jess, was it your will to not be denied the lifestyle you wanted, that you believe pushed you through?
For sure.
Mom being ill, you know, just trying to figure out how you're going to create the stability that your son needs as he's going through his challenges, right? Like,
for
was that
sure.
it?
Like, I knew I had nobody after her. You understand? Like, that was it. There was nobody else there for me. It was, this is now all on me. And I told her that I was going to make sure everybody was good. So I'm big on your word is your bond. Like, I'm really big on that. Don't make me a promise you can't keep. That's just, I'm really, obviously because of my lifestyle, you know, like, it's traumatic. So I promised her that. So it was just, I didn't have a choice. I don't know how, like, there wasn't another option. Yes, I could go back to property management. Yes, I could do this, but I didn't want someone watching my kids. I wanted to be involved, and he was having lots of surgeries, and I knew what I wanted, and I know what I deserve. Like, I know where my heart is at. I know what I deserve. So I have to work towards it in order, like, for God to give me that blessing.
That's so good.
You know?
Man, you just ministered to me right there.
Look.
You gotta know what you deserve.
Yeah.
You gotta know what God paid the price for.
Look, I'm about to preach.
No. I want you to do it.
Okay,
This is Calvin's show.
Okay, so
Come on. Preach.
We learned this in church, and I'm a firm believer in this. And I believe that we have a tendency to keep asking God for this, when the resources are already here. And we keep asking for signs, or I'm going to leave it to God. Yeah, you can leave certain things to God, yes, you know, but at the end of the day, everything you need is right here. It's within you. It is within you. And when you feel there's blockage, doors open. If you really believe in what you want to do, doors will open, period. The resources are here, but you have to believe in it first.
Amen.
And then everybody else is going to believe in it, because you're going to talk different. You're going to carry yourself with a different level of confidence and faith. And when you do that, you don't need anything. You don't need to wait on anything. You don't know. Your resources are right here. They're here. A lot of people, they keep waiting, and it's like, no. While you're waiting, someone is out there doing.
Come on.
You know? So,
Whew. The fact that we can dream for something, the fact that we have a strong desire to go after something is evidence that
it can happen.
It can happen. Oh my goodness.
I teach my kids that people tell me, like, your kids do everything. Yes, they do everything, because I tell them they can do everything. I am not that parent that says, oh no, don't do that. No. You want to do that? Okay, go learn about it. You want to do that? Go learn about it. Like, it's all about limitations, and society is the one that puts limitations on our beliefs and our dreams. It's nobody else. It's society. It could be family. It could be something you read. It's always an outside influence that discourages you. It always is.
Always is.
Yeah. So, like, block the noise.
Come on. That's so good. So good. So you're trading this swing trading strategy.
Yes.
And you've taken $200 to $20K. You have leveled out your debt. And that's really when you're leveling up. Like, you're leveling up when you owe no man nothing but love.
Let me tell y'all, I had a 580 credit score. I'm going to keep it so real with y'all. 580. I had a 24 interest rate on a Mazda 6. They scammed me. So basically, I'm paying double for it. I went from that all the way up to past 750. My score changed in 2 weeks. Wow. And then the places that kept telling me no, everybody was trying to go ahead and offer me something. Now, anytime I go to a dealership, I just posted, I have just paid for a car. I get whatever I want.
Come on.
Whatever I want. But, you know.
No down payment.
No. The only time I put a down payment is because I'm trying to move numbers around. That's the only reason why I put money down.
That's that boss talk, Jess.
Because I work for it.
Ooh.
I work for it. But it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you're being told no, or you got to pay extra deposit, or, you know, like, and you get so accustomed to doing that. And then when you realize, like, when you get told, oh, you're approved, because that fear, you know, you go in the office and you're like, you get scared and it's like, oh yeah, you're good to go. Da-da-da, pick out what, like being told that. And we're not talking about like, this is at a high-end dealership, like it's like, you offering me champagne, you offer me, okay, all right. Like, this is the life. This is the life. And at the end of the day, it's what it's all about is, I don't want to be told no. I have kids to take care of. I don't want to tell my kids I can't. So that's why credit mattered to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So, okay. Let's get back to this 200 to 20K.
Okay.
Let's get back to this. You make this happen, right? Mm-hmm. And you are living now. Because like we just talked about, you owe no man nothing.
Nobody.
So now you're living. At what point did you now get away from swing trading and start leaving the currency market and you're transitioning now to the options, the stock market?
Teaching. So I did not want to teach. I had no desire to teach. I was living my best life. And people kept asking me to teach. Like they were wondering where I went because I was pretty well known on social media and then I disappeared.
When that money started hitting, you went ghost?
Yeah, I mean, I was good. I was in network marketing before. I tried network marketing after property management for a bit. So I had gotten big unexpectedly. But then I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't got to do this anymore. I don't have to worry about answering like 50 messages a day so I just got low key. And I'll never forget Miss Susan. She's a pastor's wife. She wanted to check up on me and she's like, what's going on, baby? Like, what you been doing? And I'm like, oh, I've just been trading. And she was like, you've been trading? Like, and I was telling her, and she was like, are you willing to teach somebody? And I was like, I don't know about that. I haven't made six figures yet. Like, I feel like you have to make six figures. That's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I was making good money, but I wasn't like having 20K months or anything like that. Like I was, it was decent. Mm-hmm. But she was like, no, you really should try. Like, would you help? So that started there. And then I realized like people kept referring everybody to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, all right. But I was doing swing trading. So they were coming from MLM companies and they were being told, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I wasn't doing that. So they were getting impatient with me. Like they loved my strategy, it was working, but they were like, man, is there any way we could do this on a daily basis? And I was like, like, I don't know, and that's what challenged me again. So I had to refine the strategy and make it work because now people were asking about day trading and scalping. So I'm a data queen. So I'm back testing, I'm collecting data, and I was like, oh yeah, like we could do this. So I had to accommodate people that I was teaching. So it was like by mistake. And then I was like, oh, okay, I could do this, So I started doing more day trading after that. And then with stock options, one of my students, her name is Star. She was the one that she paid me for one-on-one coaching and she was asking for help with stock options. And I was like, girl, I don't know anything about stock options. And she was like, no, I've taken your course. And a couple people I know have taken your course. And they said like, I need to take it. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, if I can't help you, I'm gonna give you your money back because I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't think I have to worry about that. And I was like, all right. I didn't know until later who I had helped that she was talking about. And I was like, oh, I know her, we did it and she made really good money. And I was like, wait a minute. You just made this much on this trade. I'm trading the FX version of it and I made pennies compared to you.
Wow.
And I was like, hold up. Can you show me this? Like, I'll pay you,
In reverse, yeah.
I was so intrigued. And she was like, okay, I want you to mark up a couple of charts and let's see how they play out. I marked up like 60 charts and I want to say like I only got 3 that didn't play out. And she was like, I'm going to tell you how much money you could have made off of these. And they were swings. I was using the 4-hour at the time. And she was like, you could have done at least like, we're talking about 5 digits, like more. And I was like, no, come on. And she was like, no, I'm serious. I was like, no way. So I offered to pay her again and she said no, but she told me, she said, I'm going to show you, but I want you to teach. And I was just like, I haven't made 6 figures with this. Like y'all keep asking me to teach when I haven't met I feel like I have to make 6 figures first to teach. And she was like, no, you don't need to. You've already proven yourself in the Forex market.
Yeah.
You got this. So she spent time with me. She taught me. And then I did a boot camp with my students that I've worked with. I did 3 boot camps. Everybody was winning. Everybody.
Wow, you guys were trading live.
Yeah, no, we don't know. You know what's crazy? I don't ever do live trading. Like, I teach people how to make money. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know. I teach people how to fish for themselves. Like, live trading is something that's new. That wasn't going on when I was learning how to trade. I do it, like, sometimes for my subscribers, but, like, everybody was winning. And they were like, this is so much easier. And I was like, really? And they're like, I just made $600 in, like, 2 minutes. Or, and I'm like.
With options.
With stock options.
Wow.
So everybody is happy and they're getting it fast. Like, they're getting it so fast. And the money I made, I took a $200 account and took it to $14,000 in like 6 weeks.
How long ago was
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
It was November 3 years ago. Because I've been teaching free economy for 2 years. So November 3 years ago. $212.64. 14 grand in 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
What's up with you and starting these accounts with $200?
Because I've come from watching people flip accounts. So like turn $50 into this, so that's just what my
I like
number.
it personally, but but it's something with the 200.
I don't know. I just come from that era where people flipped accounts and that just was my number. Like, I know 500 probably seems ideal, but $200 is, because if I lose it, I lose it. It is what it is.
I like that.
So yeah, I did it. And I was just like, I remember I made first $4,000 and I showed them. And then I made $9,000. And I'm showing I'm showing the girls like a star. And they're laughing at me because they've been making this kind of money. Like, they're like, oh, like, how cute.
Yeah.
Kind of. If they could say, like, that's pretty much how they treated me. And I was like, you guys, I just did it. And they're like, yeah, wait till you do futures. And at that point, that went over my head.
Yeah.
So
you tried it though. You tried futures?
I trade futures.
Oh, so now you trade futures?
I trade futures, but stock options is where my money is at.
Okay.
So stock options is easy. The charting is easy. When the market goes up, it goes up. When it goes down, it goes down. When it moves side, the volatility is nowhere near like Forex or futures. So it's the best thing to teach beginners because they build their confidence right away. They're seeing profits within a quick time frame. So they feel good. And they also, the way that I teach, they're okay with sitting on their hands to wait for the setup. And that's the most important thing. Forex traders, from my experience teaching, no disrespect to other Forex traders that are disciplined, they can't wait.
It's true. And because you can access the market at any time.
Yes, and you can hit the buy, sell.
Yeah.
So with stock options, I have them utilize what's called the cash account. And let's say you have $500 in your account. If you get into 2 trades that cost $250 and you exit prematurely, you can't trade no more for the day. You got to wait for the next business day to trade.
Oh, wow.
So this teaches them to have more discipline. This teaches them not to be so impulsive, because there's nothing worse than you being impulsive, you exit, and then you see everybody else making a 400% return on a trade that you didn't wait for your entry for. And that happens. That's the best lesson in stock options. So when you start to see that happening, you're like, okay, wait a minute. I need to chill.
Explain stock options for me.
Yeah. So with stocks, you own stocks. Like, you're a part of the company. You are ownership, and depending on the company's performance, some of them pay what's called dividends. With stock options, you are borrowing 100 shares per contract. So you're borrowing. And what you're doing is you're assessing whether it's going to go up or down. And you're going to make money off of whether it does one or the other. Once you exit your position, that's it. You don't own anything. There's no ownership. You either win or you lose. You don't risk the entire amount. So if I pay $150 to get into a trade and I'm risking only $35 for that one contract, then that's what I'm willing to lose. I don't risk the whole thing. We have compounding profits. So let's say we're looking at Tesla and Tesla makes a $4 move. Well, depending on what contract I select, once it makes a dollar move, I make $50. Then I make 55. Then I make 60. Then I make 75 until it gets $100. So my profits are compounding every time that stock is moving in a direction I want per dollar move. So for every dollar that it moves. So with Forex, it's your lot size times whatever pips.
Correct.
Right? With stock options, you could literally I could buy a contract for $150 and I could make a 200, 300% return in one trade. Wow. So your account grows much faster. It's not as tedious. It's not as much work, and there's not that big of a risk. We have to factor in something called the Greeks. So we have like time decay, which a lot of people try to talk negatively about. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. When y'all tell me that, you don't know what you're doing. Like,
Go ahead. Go
every
ahead.
time like when they're like, oh, but you got to worry about data. Yes, you have to worry about data. But if you know how to get in at the right spot, that data is not going to hurt you as bad as you're thinking. And you have to understand contract selection. So you're buying time. If you're going to swing trade, you need to buy enough time. Don't sit there and be cheap. That's the problem. People try to be cheap. And then they wonder why that time decay is eating up some of their profits. So a lot of people get scared because of it, and it's very intimidating if you try to research it on YouTube. Like it's not friendly to learn. But I've found a formula, thanks to Star, where I could teach it in a way that people are not intimidated by it. So people are making 500% return on their accounts in less than a month. Wow. You know, like small accounts. If, you know, I have a student right now, she has a 6-figure account. She's already at a 50% increase on her 6-figure account.
That's crazy.
Live.
So who's teaching you? Like, it's all about where you're getting your information from.
So I already knew how to chart.
Yeah.
So like, if you know how to chart.
No, I'm not asking who's teaching you.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Oh, it's about,
Yeah. So the people that are saying, but what about this, Jess? But what about that? It's about the foundation that you're getting.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Because when people always contradict me about it, they're like, yeah, but you have this. You know, there are definitely more variables you have to consider. Mm-hmm. So learning the broker, learning the terminology can be very intimidating, but the money is so good and the charting is so elementary.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Now, I know why people love futures because you don't got to do any of that. So to me, futures is like Forex and stock options had a baby on steroids.
I like futures.
Yeah, I love futures. Yeah, I trade NQ. Like NQ and GC are what I trade. I love it. But I trade SPX for stock options. And like, if I were to trade ES with futures, we're going to do one contract just for like beginners. Mm-hmm. I will make double or triple with stock options. So like on a trade that will make me $3,800, I'll make like $9,000 trading SPX and stock options.
That's crazy.
So like, that's why I only look at NQ and gold, because those,
yeah, they move.
And they'll give you a heart attack,
Yeah.
especially NQ. But
yeah, I took an L on NQ yesterday.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wait till FOMC. Wait.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Okay, so I love the way you just eased it. You just eased the fundamentals in. I love that. Let's
Wait
go.
for the data.
Okay, talk to me. Okay. When did this fundamental side of you see how I'm like giddy right now, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because my boy, I got to give my boy Ralph a big shout out. So he watched your entire roundtable interview with Riz. So shout out to Riz. He watched it and he called me. So my boy Ralph.
I'm not crazy, Ralph.
No. Ralph loves you. Ralph is Ralph loves you. Yeah. So Ralph hit me up. He was like, yo, I just watched this roundtable with Charlene. And it was a few other people on there. And so he was just introduced to like the rest of you ladies.
Okay.
All he knew was Charlene.
Shout out to Charlene.
And you just stole the show for him.
Aww.
And for him to call me and just start going on and on, I knew it was something there. So he started telling me, he was like, yo, I've been telling people about if you wait till the news come out and when it hit those levels, those weekly, those daily levels, you got entries there, right? Because he trades off the extremes every day. Like, that's all he does. And so he just starts talking. And he was like, yo, everything she was saying, it just hit home. Like,
Ralph, we got to talk.
Yeah. So Ralph was a huge fan of everything you said. Because these are things that he's seen on his journey, right?
Yes.
But nobody's talking about that. So he opened up the can, right? Talk to me about fundamentals.
Yeah, so because of my experience swing trading, fundamentals moved my trade faster in the direction I analyzed. And one thing my mentor always said was, don't worry about news. It always works for us. And I didn't understand his confidence, but he instilled that in me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't see it any other way. And I was always told from outside sources, don't trade news, don't trade news, don't trade news. And if you, like for my students, if they watch my old webinars where like, oh, we're staying away from that, we're not going to trade. I went from that, from teaching, because I was scared to teach people, because remember, we were day trading. I was swing trading, so it's different. But then when I got into stock options and I saw the money that news makes us, I had to break it down. Like I was like, okay, wait a minute. I already know swing trading with Forex and futures, like well, at the time Forex, I already know it makes me money. Like I already know that. But I'm like, there's a formula here, because every time with stock options, it's like we love high impact news. So I went and broke it down. I back tested every news event. I back tested.
How far back did you go?
Years. Wow. I even do all of the presidencies. So I compare a Democrat in office compared to a Republican in office to see how crypto and the stock market moves. I do all of, like, I do all of it. Like I go way back as far as my chart can go. And I noticed that it literally makes the same behavioral patterns almost every time. Every time. And that is our job. Our job is to observe the behavioral patterns of the market. So all you got to do is observe, write it down, watch it. Don't try to trade it. Watch it first to see if it confirms your bias or whatever you analyze. And then you'll see, okay, all right, that one worked. Okay, that one worked. Okay, that one didn't work. You know, like you'll know, like I know when there's like a no rate cut, it consolidates. So if there's no rate cut, I'm not trading. I know when there's a rate cut, usually for stock options, you'll get a movement about 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, actually, prior to the release statement, the data. Then you'll go ahead and get another movement in 100% opposite direction, and then we'll consolidate. And if you hold that trade overnight, it will gap up or gap down in the direction it automatically, like the trend, overall trend. I know this based off of what I have back tested. I know that when there's an increase in our interest rate, the market will go ahead and do a quick impulse at the FOMC statement. It'll give you the retest, or that will be the push candle. And at 3:15, it's going to give you another entry. I know this about what I trade. Let me make that very clear. So all I did was back test and write it down. That's all I did. And then just implement. And if I don't see what I'm looking for, I'm not trading it. So it has to be by a higher time frame level. It has to be by structure. There has to be confluences. And then like for Forex, my daily candles usually give me an indication 2 days prior of what's going to happen. Ooh, I proved it.
You getting saucy, Jess? This is sauce right
It's
here.
for free too. I put it on YouTube for free. People are like, oh, she's just trying to sell a course. It's for free. It's for free on YouTube.
How long did it take you to gather this data? Like studying the fundamentals? And what markets were you studying fundamentals on?
I don't know how long it took me. I think that I have really intellectual students, so they keep me on my toes. So like,
you just threw yourself at it.
Yeah. Like people were asking me questions, and I was like, oh, I feel like I have to have the answers to everything or as much as possible. So I wanted to be that person they can confide in, you know, and ask. But stock options definitely was the one that did it. And then like I always look at the dollar, DXY. I mark it up every week. It helps me with futures, stock options, crypto, the dollar. Everyone should be marking up the dollar, like period. You should be marking it up. And you'll start to see the negative and positive correlation. And there are times where everything moves the same, and you got to be careful. Something fundamentally is not right when that happens. Doesn't mean you can't trade it, but just be mindful of that. Like, for example, gold always moves opposite for the most part with the dollar. So I know that if the dollar, just like this NFP that just passed, I knew what the dollar was going to do. So gold was predictable because like it correlated on the opposite side and price action matched it, you know? And we had an indication, like the 4-hour candle prior to we had an indication that it was going to drop. That's price action, you know? So if you understood it was by a weekly resistance and that was a shooting star on the 4-hour, that's really strong confirmation. So before news even hit, it was common sense it was going to go down, even if you didn't know that. Like, it was common sense. Now, whether you should trade it or not, that's on you. I always tell people. I tell my team, if you want to day trade it, you got to be careful with your brokers because the spread, the manipulation, they're going to sit there and they're going to try. They're not going to let you win. They're not.
Facts.
But if you wait 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, wait for that hour candle to close or that 15-minute candle to close, there will be a setup right after. Don't try to trade news. If you're not in a swing, don't try to trade news. Just wait right after. It's there. The setup is there.
Wow.
So I don't know how long it took. I just know that I don't want to say I figured it out because the markets always change, but it's been working for a few years. And, you know, my students are not afraid of news. We look forward to it. So that's a good feeling.
So you're not limited to just trading around news cycles. You can trade anything. Like a day there's no news as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But for
on
stock
those
options,
days, it's very like the
Yeah,
You
for
know,
stock
probability
options.
is higher, basically.
Yeah, so I create my calendar for the month.
Okay.
And I literally look up high impact news and I make sure I make myself available for those days to trade for stock options. Like, period. With NQ, like I don't trade NQ on Mondays. I don't like Mondays and Tuesdays unless there's a holiday on Monday, then I'll trade the momentum after. But I trade GC and NQ Wednesday and Thursday. I'll trade at a certain time and then I'll trade stock options after. And that's it. I trade 2 days out the week. Unless there is like, I'm at my desk and there's a no-brainer setup, I'll take it. But that's it. That's all I need.
That's crazy, Jess.
Yeah, that's it. Even my team knows. They
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I keep telling them, you guys keep trying to trade on the days that NQ moves sideways. Stop doing it to yourself. Like, leave it alone.
What does your technical analysis look like? Like when you look at a chart,
Yeah.
what are you marking up and what are you paying attention to?
I'm top down, monthly, weekly, daily. 4 hour is a good confirmation. If you trade NQ or NAS, you know anything that is high volatility, them 4 hour levels, chef kiss. Like, use it. I do implement supply and demand.
Okay.
My levels, I don't use levels too much, mostly supply and demand. Levels is something I teach in my free course and it works. I do that for stock options.
Okay.
And then I'm a Fibonacci girl. So I love Fibonacci. I have a method that works. It gets me a wick entry almost every single time. So like Fibonacci that's my baby right there. So Fibonacci, a supply and demand zone, and I have price action. If I'm live trading, I need price action to confirm it, and I will dissect the price action. So if my 4 hour candle close, for example, like gold, was a shooting star, I'll go down to smaller time frames to make sure that it correlates with what I'm seeing and it's staying underneath that level and showing rejection. If I see that, I'm getting in the trade. We just had a class on it yesterday, and the feedback I got was so good. Like, I love dissecting price action.
Wow.
Yeah.
So NFP, the last one that just passed a couple weeks ago.
I was right to the T.
Talk to me about that setup and like what did you see before it happened and what was your bias?
Oh my
and how
gosh,
did
the
it play
2
out?
daily candles before.
Okay.
Go look at it.
Walk us through it. Walk us through what you saw.
Man, I wish I had a chart. You're going to have to put a chart
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here
yeah.
on my hand or something, okay?
I love it.
But like, if we just simplify it to like, literally, it was a break and a retest of market structure. It was a 2 candle rejection, respecting a trend line. You could add a fib. I want to say it was a 38.20 rejection. I have to double check. That was it. That was it. And then I already told people it's gonna go here, and then it's gonna spike up to this area. And I was off. I was off by a hair, but I said it's gonna spike up to this area, and then it's gonna come right back down. It did exactly what I said. Because I have learned that during NFP, it will come back to a 4 hour level, which can also be a daily level. But it usually will come back to it and do like a retest real quick to a higher time frame level. That's where everybody gets stopped out. Everybody gets stopped. Most people that don't know how to trade it, they get stopped out because of that. So, and those are my entries. Those are my entries, or I'm already in the trade and it's just coming back and adding a position. Because I trade stock options, I don't really trade NFP, like, because the market's closed. But if I wait the first 15 minutes after market open for stock options, I usually, for NFP, there's a nice setup right after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Girl, you on fire. You on fire, man.
Thank you.
Sheesh. Okay.
I can talk trading all day.
This
I'm not
is really
nervous
good.
anymore.
I told you. Once we get going. And check your time. Let me know when
No,
you're
you're
good.
good. You're
Okay.
good. You're good.
All right, we're good. What time is it?
Yeah, it's 12:15.
Okay, perfect. Because I know you got to get in the carpool line.
Yeah, that's at 4 o'clock.
Okay, gotcha. You are fire. Like,
you.
for real. Like, your energy, your enthusiasm.
Thanks.
Your skill set, your level, and your degree of, like, I have a certain thing that I'm looking for, and I know this certain thing, and I have the experience to back it,
That's
and I have the research to back it. That's
just
powerful.
back test people.
Yeah.
Like, journal, back test. And I know it sounds so cliche, like we all say this, but we're telling you this because it changed our lives. And if you don't do this, you are doing yourself a disservice. I mean, especially now with journaling apps and with, there's so many ways, there's so many resources that you can use. I didn't have that. Mine was a good old pen and paper, taking a screenshot, or like, I literally still have all my charts from when I started. I keep everything, like I have everything just in case I'm in a funk and I need to go back and I need to see, okay, where did I mess up? What am I doing wrong? I do that. And document your emotions. Like, document your emotions, because what you're gonna see is that, hold on, sorry.
No, take your time.
What you're gonna see is that there are gonna be certain setups that make you feel good and certain setups that you feel antsy about. You have to document that, and you have to write down what were your confluences for both setups. If you notice that every time you use Fibonacci, you feel good, then you need to incorporate that in your trading plan. If you realize every time you just use levels, you feel antsy, then you need to find another form of confluence to add to your trade to give you that peace of mind where if I lose, I'm okay with it. But that's what people need to do. They don't do it. They don't do it. And I sit here and I preach all the time. I'm like, y'all, treat this like a business. Treat it like a business and it will pay you.
That's so dope. You know, I'm thinking about my loss yesterday on NQ, and as you just said that, right? Pay attention to the trades that make you antsy. Pay attention to the trades that bring you certainty.
You were in all that back and forth, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, you were.
It ate me alive.
Yeah, so what you're going to do when that happens is keep a higher time frame open beside you. As long as that higher time frame is respecting that level, because I had a trader that did the same thing, you need to stay in the trade. Now, if it got your stop loss, I understand that, but
it didn't even get my stop. I kept getting out. Like, I got tired of sitting in the fluctuation.
No, you can't do that, because then you're not going to trust yourself.
Yep, that's what it was.
You have to trust yourself.
And just to be honest with you, it really wasn't even my best setup, but
it wasn't for anybody.
I just felt like, okay, it triggered this low. I know it's gonna pop back up.
Yeah.
And it continued to pull back, but then it would wick back up.
Oh my gosh.
And it just kept doing that, and then finally it moved back up.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It went all the way to previous structure, a little bit past it. Yeah, I went over in class with my students. You have to trust yourself. Don't look at your P&L, accept the loss. That's it. The moment you start doing that, your confidence is going to boost up and you're going to be like, I don't care. And once you don't care about your trades anymore, you're at the next level. You've just unlocked the next level. So like, if you keep getting out, you're not going to know if your risk management works. So you're going to be second guessing yourself, and you're going to be looking at that P&L, and you're going to be like, change it to ticks. That's number one, or percentages. Don't keep your P&L on there, but you got to learn to you're going to lose. It's inevitable. It is what it is. But once you build that trust, like, you'll feel good. You'll feel good.
How have you learned just over the years to deal with your losses, and what's your risk management plan?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I cried a lot when I first started, because I cried a lot because I was just like, I'm a perfectionist, and it's not even about making money. It's just about, like, I like to be right. That's just, I had to let that go.
Me too. I like to be right.
Like, I always feel like I got the data, I'm right, I've been humbled several times. I think that, like, I was taught like 35 pip stop loss for 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3 was how I was taught. So that's been instilled in me forever. So that I still implement till this day. Even NQ, I use 35 ticks, which is not easy for a stop loss for NQ, but I do it. I'm able to do it.
You getting sniper entries.
Yeah. I do. I really do. I would have to say that, man, I don't know. I've just always been, I have a set strategy. Like, I have a set strategy. It's 1 to 3. I trade 2 days. 2 days out the week, 2 trades per day. There are times where I go against it and I'll go for a third that happened to me a little bit ago, about 2 weeks ago. But if I win on the first one, I'm done. I close it because I'm done. Like, that's it. If I lose the first one, I get in one more time. And that's the outcome for the day. Let it go. That's it. So that's what I do for myself. Shutting off the computer is huge. That is part of my risk management. Shutting off the computer when you're done. Don't, like, close your broker, close everything, because I have been guilty of giving money back, especially when I was doing futures. Oh my gosh. Like, the money is so addicting, right? It's so addicting. And then usually I average about 250 ticks a trade. So I'm risking 35 ticks for 250 ticks. And I'll see it goes up more, and I'm like, like I'm trying to get back in, and all of a sudden I'm like, all my common sense and strategy goes
just
out
goes
the
out the
door.
window, yeah.
Yeah, so I've learned. Actually, I learned it from a student. They were like, I just turn off my computer. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, and I just go about my day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna do that, and that actually has saved me. Shutting it off, because by the time I turn it on and do it, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's moved without me. I'm not doing it on my phone. It's moved without me. So for me, that's part of my risk management. But 1 to 3, 2 trades per trading day. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. The only time I will get into a third trade is if I've taken a loss, but I'm really confident that it's moving the way I want. I've done that a couple times, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love the way that you are still, even though with so much, 7 years of experience and just obviously great results, right? How you're still teachable. You teach,
Oh, yeah.
but you're still teachable. Like somebody can bring you information and you can still learn from them.
For sure. Because, especially these younger people, like, I'm older. They have a lot of information. They're smart. They do a lot of research. There are things that weren't brought to my attention when I was learning. So I listen to my students. I don't think I know it all. But when I see that they're going down the rabbit hole, I'm like, let me stop you right now. Because this is not going anywhere. But if they bring, they say something, I'm like, oh, wow, that was, I'll let them know. I've had Virginia. She's one of my stock option students. She was the one that started implementing she broke down price action from the 5-minute to the 3-minute. I use a 2-minute now, but she was the one that kind of got me more into that. And her win rate is unreal. And I was like, you know what? Do you mind teaching this to the team? And she was like, absolutely. So she opened my mind in that, from that perspective. She took what I taught and she broke it down even further and made it more friendly for students. So yeah, I will always have an open mind. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's
you have
dope.
to be. You have to be.
So how many students do you think you have right now?
Oh my gosh, 17,000 in 80 countries.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to, Economy took a leap of faith with me. So they're the ones that exposed me. And I'm their only female educator. So I had to show up, I had to, they have some good teachers there.
Yeah.
And they believed in me. And they're the ones that got me, I'm globally impacting people.
Yeah.
And that is a really good feeling when you talk to people in countries where they don't make as much. And it could be $25. And to us, we'd be like, man, they don't even put gas in our tank. But for them, that just took care of their family's groceries. That, you don't even realize the impact you have until you step out of what you're used to. Because somebody here might be like, oh, she just screenshotted $25. Like, that's not a win, right? That's what we will do as Americans, period.
Yep.
Right? That's just what it is. But when I've seen what we can do for other people all over the world, I have students in South Africa, Netherlands, Sweden, Slovakia, countries that I also have never heard of. I just heard of the Balkans, I think. I've never heard of it. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me go to Google.
Yeah.
It really opens your mind. And what's great about it is their mindset. Their mindset keeps me going. Because internationally teaching, they're so studious. They're hungry. They want to learn. They're not negative. They're not discriminatory. Nothing. It is all love. I have never seen something so beautiful, ever. And unfortunately, now, for example, I got exposure in the States. You see all the negativity. I've gotten love. I got lots of love. Thank you, everybody. But there's been a lot of negativity. That would never happen internationally. It won't. They don't do it.
Wow.
They just don't. And if they do, I don't see it.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
I got really cool students.
Well, we got love for you here on the Forex Beginner Podcast.
Thank you.
It's all love over here. You know what I mean? Because, hey,
I appreciate it.
We are a tribe. The people watching this, I'm telling you right now, and you're going to see when this hits the airways, right? The people here, they tired of their situation.
Yeah.
Whether it's, back against the wall right now or just in that
It's
job
hard.
that pays well,
Yeah.
but you have no time.
Yeah. And right now, it's hard out here.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't care what anybody says. Groceries are ridiculously expensive.
Facts.
Cost of living has gone up too much. Auto insurance is up 26%. You live in Florida, if you got homeowners insurance, they're sitting there
Yep.
trying to like make people get new roofs and everything, and then they're increasing you another 20 something percent. It's hard out here. I don't care how much money you make. We don't want to put more money out into things that we were paying less for.
telling
So
you.
trading right now, I think trading for a lot of people is a ticket of it's an opportunity for them. And I think that if people can just understand that it does not happen overnight, but you have to keep working towards it. You have to keep working towards it because it will pay off. Like it will pay off. But you can't give up. Like you just can't give up. You can't.
Gotta keep fighting.
You have to.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to.
Like, what has been like your lowest moment in trading? And
tell
like, do
you
you
right now.
remember like just one
Yeah.
moment that stands out?
2 years ago.
Okay.
2
Like,
years
tell me about
ago.
it.
I don't like, I have traded for people, but we're talking about like people with like a lot of money,
Oh,
right?
you managed capital before?
I have.
Oh, that's really, that's dope. Okay.
For like, yeah. And that was a great experience. Would I do it again? No, but it was a great experience. So I took on trading for someone I know, and I had a great win rate. Everything was going good. Like life was good. This was my birthday month. So I was like, okay, if I do this, they told me I can get half, blah, blah, blah. I was trading at the time SPY. SPY is the baby version of SPX or ES. Totally different. Like now I trade SPX, but totally different. They gave me about $10,000 and okay, fine, whatever, you know, like I can do this. Why did I decide to trade something different? So I knew SPY and QQQ was what I was good at. Back tested it, knew everything about it, when it moved, everything. I wanted to be, you know, let me make them this, you know, in 1 week. Not smart. I traded SPX. Didn't know what the average drawdown was. Didn't do nothing. No back testing, no nothing. I just got full of myself. And yeah, I lost $7,000 in 2 days. Wow. That was the worst loss because it was someone I cared about. And that's been settled, but that was my birthday month too. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, I let them down. They needed this. It was bad. I was like, I cried. I remember crying to a girlfriend of mine and I was like, I can't believe I did this. Like, I can't believe, you know, like me, you know, like, you know me, you know how I am. Like, she knows me trading wise. And she was like, but that's part of the game. I'm like, no, it's not part of the game. Like, I was irresponsible. I've been doing this for this many years. Like, I know better. Why? And it was just because I wanted to make them happy fast. You know, like you just want to show them like, this works. Like I got you. That it completely took away all my sensibility. And that was really hard to own up to.
How did you bounce back from that?
Oh man. I stopped trading for a couple of weeks. I don't think I traded that entire month, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Like it psychologically messed me up. This was someone I cared about. And if there was anyone I didn't want to let down, it was them. You know what I mean? So it took me, I got therapy. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. My friend that I spoke to, she put me in touch with her therapist, and like I had to get therapy because I just felt like a failure. You know what I mean? Like it felt like as if I was letting my kids down.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just, I never did that. I've never let somebody down. I didn't know how to cope with that. I did not know how to cope with that. But I came back that September. Your girl made some money.
Yeah.
But it took, you see how long it took for me to get back on track. So now it's not like that. Now I'm not that stupid. You know, now it's like, this could take a year. I don't even do it anymore just because I realize trading someone dear to you capital is completely different than trading your own capital.
Yeah.
Because if I lose $10,000 today, that's my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's somebody else's livelihood, which they should not be trading, but it's a different feeling. It hurts.
Especially, you know, when you know
it hurts.
They're depending on that. Like they're looking for you to grow that for them.
It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt me so bad. Like And I couldn't even look them in their face. It was the walk of shame.
How did you tell them? Like, was it text message?
Oh,
call?
no, it was in person.
In person?
In person.
Ooh.
I was crying.
Wow.
Yeah, I cried. I'm gonna keep it real. I cried.
What was the reaction?
I don't even think they understood until like a couple of weeks later. And they were just like, man, I know you said there's a possibility we could lose it all, but is it still salvageable? And I was like, look, it is. But we're going to do this on my terms. You know, like I need to be conservative because I realized at that point when you're trading 6-figure, 7-figure accounts, sometimes 8, 9 figures actually, they don't, like, as long as you stay within their risk, they don't care.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it was different. They were nice about it. They were very nice about it. But I heard about it for a little bit. It kept getting thrown in my face. You know how family is. It's family.
Yeah.
They'll throw stuff in your face. Oh, you sit here and you make all this money. Da-da-da-da. How come you couldn't flip my money? And it was just like, oh, that hurts.
It does.
It's a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, I make money. Like, how you think I bought this car? How you think teaching paid me that? No, it did not. So, that hurts because then now they're not trusting my skill set. They doubt me and everybody else loves me for it, but that person doubts me. That eats me up.
Yeah.
It ate me up so bad.
Are there any drawbacks to or with being a female trader?
Yeah,
What
for
are
sure. I feel like we see things differently. Where we can be very misunderstood. I know that I love the markets. Like I love the markets like it's my kids. God, my kids, the markets. Like it's
up there.
It's up there,
That's a shirt right there. We
Yeah,
gotta
for real.
brand that for you. Yeah, come on.
So like relationship wise, it's hard because I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. And I know that most men are not used to being with a woman, that is in this field and so passionate and dealing with so many men. That's hard. You have to have someone that trusts you. And you have to have someone that really believes in you through your good and your bad months, because not every month is a green month, you know? So dealing with what we go through psychologically, I don't know. I can't speak for men. I don't know how they react emotionally. I know how as a woman, I'm hard on myself. So that affects the energy in the home.
Facts.
That affects the kids. So I have had to learn how to just become numb to the pain, like of losing, and making sure that doesn't transfer over to my children and to my loved ones. So in that aspect, it's different. When I go out for volunteering for my kids' schools and I speak to other women and they ask me what I do, it's the worst. Like I now tell people I'm a teacher. Like, because when I say, oh yeah, I trade stocks, they're like, oh really? Oh, my husband does that. And it's just like, okay. Like, well, this little stock thing that you do. And it's like, no, it's not a little stock thing. You know what I mean? So it does not get the respect that it deserves unless I talk to men. When I talk to men, they're like, oh, for real?
Blown away.
Yeah, you do this? Or,
yeah.
And then they'll think that I'm an influencer, and I'm like, no, like I trade. Like, like I have to tell people I trade. I'm not an influencer. This is what I do for a living. This is how I take care of my family. And then people will test me. Like, this happened to me in Vegas. I met some very high-end people from Pfizer. And one of them tried me. And when I sat there and I told them what their stock was going to do or what, they called me back and they were like, it did what you said. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's
powerful.
Yeah. So men have been way more receptive towards me than women. Women either get intimidated or they shoo me away. Wow. Shoot me away, right? That's it. Shoot me away. Yeah. So
I think when we, especially as being an entrepreneur, right? Especially around school stuff where the majority of the other parents are traditional 9-to-5ers, right?
Yes.
I feel like we're always going to feel uneasy.
Yeah.
Especially as trading entrepreneurs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because people always assume it's gambling. And it's like, no, it's calculated risk. It's calculated risk. It all depends on the person. But trying to explain that to someone that doesn't understand, it's not worth it. Like I tell people, I teach. That's it. I don't even tell them I trade anymore, because if it's and I hate to say this, if it's a man, I feel more comfortable telling him that I trade.
Yeah.
If it's a woman, I don't, because it's just it never gets respected.
I mean, it's the same thing for me. Like at church, or I was at the doctor, and my son's pediatrician asked me, "Hey, like I always see you bring him. You know, like is mom around?" I'm like, "Yeah, my wife's around.
Yeah,
but
you a father.
Yeah, but I bring him. Yeah. So what do you do for a living?" And sometimes I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I say, you know, I day trade, and then other times I say I run a media company, and then other times I say I'm a podcaster. My son tells everybody I'm a YouTuber, right?
Yeah,
so,
sounds cool for them.
Yeah, but I don't know what to say.
What to say.
But my mom just tells everybody he's an entrepreneur. Like he do different stuff. You know what I mean? Like he got different stuff.
Just tell them you're a superstar and watch what that conversation goes.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just start saying, listen, I'm a child of God. And every day I wake up and I put smiles on people's faces. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. My doctors, I love talking to my doctors about it. Not pediatrician, but like other doctors, because they have investment portfolios. And they always, especially like I have a cardiologist, I get all the checkups. My cardiologist, he loves when I come to, he's
ready to talk.
He talks about his portfolio. And, he's like, look, I got into this. I'm here. I've added 50% of that. And I'm like, that. He has a long-term portfolio. So, like I'll guide him on, okay, you want to look on these levels, or because he just uses indicators. And I'm like, no. You got to have more confluence than that, So I'm like, you need to take my free course. Like, here, you take this first, before you. And he's like, I did it. I did what you said. I see, And I'm like, yeah, okay, now you're good. I like talking to career-oriented people because they usually have 401k, and I always tell them, like, you can trade that. Like, you can trade stock options for your retirement portfolio. You don't have to leave it in their hands. And they're like flabbergasted, just like, whoa, what? I'm like, yeah, I have people that do it all the time. They trade their own portfolios instead of determining where they want the percentages to go. If you learn enough, you can sit there and use this skill to build your own retirement.
That's fire. Don't
wait on the broker. The broker's going to do what's best for them. You know what I mean? But if you do your research, you're unstoppable.
That's facts.
So,
That is facts.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it. But hey, look, like no matter what we do in life, somebody is not going to understand. Somebody's going to have some type of objection. And we just got to keep shining.
Yeah, there's a community of us that we have to be there for one another, which I feel like we should transition into toxicity, right? Trading is not easy. And if anything, we already deal with so much in our personal lives. It is a mental game of tug of war internally that we're dealing with when we're trading. And I feel like the community needs to be more supportive of one another. We need to start being able to clap for other people. We need to understand, like you said earlier, we may see the market differently, right? How I see it and how you see it are different, but at the end of the day, if we're making money, we're making money. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And I think that people need to understand that if we could change just that energy, and we can just help, and we can start giving tips or just giving positive energy towards people, this can go further than where it already is.
Facts.
Instead of sitting there and being negative or putting hateful comments, like I think if people would just get off of their high horse and just humble themselves a bit, we could do something much bigger. And I feel like people like yourself that are, showing the world what traders are going through, showing people their personalities, showing them we're just like you, like we're regular people. We're special. We are special. I'm not saying we're not special.
Right.
We're special. So are you, right? But it's possible. Like, and it doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't have to be, there's so much bullying that goes on in the community. Like, it has to stop. It has to stop. And people know when they come to my page, I don't play that. Like, no, I will check you with the quickness. But, I just want it to be more positive.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want it to be more positive so that when people are trying to learn how to trade, they're not scared.
Yeah.
When you're learning something new, it's a whole new language. You got candlesticks, you got like support, resistance. I know it's basic, but like a Fibonacci, what? It's like You should feel comfortable. You should be able to be vulnerable to ask for help for learning how to trade.
Yeah.
And I feel like that isn't always the case in this community. And I would love for that to change. I would.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at the pool, right? You have the majority of people that are just not successful, you know, just bouncing around course to course.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, like educator to educator.
Yeah.
Podcast to podcast, YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Just not winning, losing money, exchanging money with the market, so to speak. You know, and you have other people that are in that same place, and that now, instead of continuing to try to learn and be optimistic, they get bitter. And they start attacking the people that maybe they've even brought courses from.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that some of the people that may come after you have been people that have subscribed to you in some way, shape, or form before. And they are just bitter.
big mad.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just bitter. Like, it is what it is. You know?
Yeah.
I've seen it time and time again. It's facts.
Yeah.
Some of your biggest haters are people that have been your biggest supporters, but you have out-leveled them.
Yeah.
And they think that you, in some way, shape, or form, cut them short.
There's no gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I don't gatekeep. I don't gatekeep. I show them everything. I do not gatekeep. And people realize that when they come to my course. Like, they're like, okay, you know, like literally just my free content alone, people charge hundreds of dollars for. Even, right, I tell people the news breakdown that I did, I could have been a scam artist and made a course real quick on how to trade news. And instead of it being on YouTube, I could have made a lot of money off of the traction that I got. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's out there for people to learn. I think people need to start being accountable for themselves, and they need to realize that their lack of success is due to their lack of acting on themselves. They're not putting in 100% effort. So you can't be mad at someone else that is believing in their dream and what they want, and you don't have that same energy. There's something I tell people. I'm gonna hurt feelings with this one.
Come on.
I can't stand when people message me about their life and da-da-da-da, I need this to work. Like, please don't send me paragraphs. Don't send me paragraphs. I don't read them. Number one, I don't.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Show me you're about it. I don't want to hear about your life until your actions show me that you're putting in the work. When I see you're submitting your homework, you're putting in those charts, or you're doing what you got to do, I'm going to ask, who's that? I'm going to genuinely be curious because this person is putting in the work. You're showing me. Then I'm going to be intrigued as an educator. Now tell me about yourself. But for you to sit here and spit game to me, because that's what it is, I don't got time for that. I don't, as an educator. And the worst thing that people tell me, don't tell me this. Don't tell me you are doing this for your kids, and then you disappear. If something traumatic did not happen in your life, okay, which is understood, do not do that with me. Because at that point, you have told me your kids are not good enough.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what you're telling me.
Wow.
And you are not a good parent. That's what I get from that when people do that to me. So if you tell me in my inbox, this is for my kids, I better see you showing up 200% every day.
Come on.
I need to see you, like, you need to be the Steph Curry of trading, period. I need to see you be like Kobe in the gym when nobody else is in there. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, you need to be practicing. Don't tell me that. And they get upset, they get hurt when I say that. Then don't tell me what your why is until you've proven yourself.
Because you know that feeling. You've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see it any other way. I cannot see it any way. I cannot sit here and say, I'm doing this for my kids, and then I don't act on it. And then, like, people will say it publicly too. And it's like, the internet, that information never goes away. You don't want your kids coming back and be like, what happened? You said you were doing this for me. Whatever happened to that? Oh, it just wasn't for me. So then why'd you include me in it? Why'd you make me a part of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a kid, if I get older, why did you put me into this? I don't want to be a part of that energy.
So for somebody right now that's made those false promises and commitments with themselves, and they've drifted off.
Yeah. Get back.
Give us some action steps.
Get back.
Yeah.
Get back on it. Do little things of self-love. Like, literally, the people that go through that, they're not exercising acts of self-love, which could be a walk every day. Just just letting it go, going out for a walk. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm so serious. Like,
Yeah.
it could be that simple. When you walk, your mind starts thinking of different things. Your brain starts thinking of ideas. You start thinking of solutions. You don't think about your problems when you walk because of the chemical makeup of what you're doing. So a simple walk could go a long way, you know, doing something that you love. You like art, go take an art class, go get a canvas, or go get something real quick for $10, go paint. Pour into yourself. You have to do that, and you will see, like, it could be small things, you guys, making your favorite meal. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but when you do that, you need to realize, like, you are worth it. And there's nothing worse. We all got that one uncle or one auntie in the family where they talk about how they could have did this, like, oh, I could have been there, or da-da-da. Okay, well, what happened? Why didn't you? What happened? Oh, what happened was, no, it was you. Don't be that person in your family. Don't be that person. Be the person that your family is proud of. My nephew and my niece, they talk proudly about me at school. I don't like, they be telling everybody, oh, my auntie's rich. She got a big house. Like, you know, but that's a great feeling. At the end of the day, it's a good feeling. And it's not about the money. It's about them being proud of me. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. So you cannot give up. You just can't. You have to love yourself enough to not give up.
Man.
Yeah.
Jess Ramos is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. In case you didn't know, dropping gems and firebomb emojis all over this place right here. Listen, if somebody wants to learn from you, how can they learn from you?
They can go to my Instagram. They can go to YouTube. It's Say Yes to Jess. There's a free course. Like, take the free course. Please, like, take it. You know, people ask me which one's better, stock options or Forex. It's such a hard question because Forex is my first love, you know. But I have statistically made people successful faster with stock options. So they're usually trading on their own between 60 to 90 days with no experience.
Wow.
Yeah, and like one of my girls, Courtney, she's been with me now. She did my January boot camp. She's pulling six figures in 6 months.
So how often do you do these boot camps? And are these virtual or in-person boot camps?
I don't do in-person anymore, but they are virtual. They're pre-recorded, so like if you don't make it while I'm doing it, you can get access to the content. I did 3 this year, and I want to do another one, but I'm traveling, so I may not do the next one until January of 2025.
Till January.
Yeah, but the content's pre-recorded, and I do live classes. For my stock options, I do live classes 2 to 3 times a week. And then for my Forex school, like, I'm really picky about who joins it. I'm just going to be honest. I only want people that really want to make a career out of this in there. I don't want people that want to be nosy or, you know, like, that's not what it's for. It's for people that really want to make a career out of it. They want to do the work, and they really want to take it to the next level. So that one, I go live once a week, or one of my admins will go live once a week on that. So yeah, that one is like, that's the course that connects usually all the pieces of the puzzles for most traders.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Jess, you're doing some powerful stuff.
Thank you.
This is dope.
I love what I do.
You are a dope person. You know
So
that?
are you.
I appreciate it. To God be the glory. Listen, I got
Yes, amen.
Random question here.
Okay.
Speaking about those DMs, right?
I'm not a therapist.
How many flirting DMs do we get?
Oh my God, I don't know. Let's keep it real. I think people are afraid to flirt with me.
Okay, so you don't get no type of like.
Very rare.
Okay.
I'm not cute.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Or like, I think people are intimidated by me.
So are you single? I didn't even ask.
Ooh, no comment.
Okay, no comment on that right now. Okay. Hey, listen. So I did this with Charlene twice.
Yeah.
So I've interviewed Charlene actually 3 times. And we met for breakfast once. And when we first connected, she was single. She had just
Really?
gotten out of a relationship. And so I always ask,
Yeah.
everybody, and all of my men that I bring on the show, the ones that are single, I challenge them about, marriage and like one day. So my question
I want to
to
be
you-
married.
Okay, you want to be married.
I want to be married. I want to be a wife so bad. I do. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
But I'm not in a rush. I know I'm older. I don't care. I don't care if I'm 50. I don't care. I'm not in a rush. But I do believe in soulmate. Like, I do believe in, I'm big on faithfulness, loyalty, trust. Like, I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo to the T. So
Yeah.
I'm big on that. And, it's all about having someone that matches your energy. And I have to say that isn't always the easiest thing. It is not always the easiest thing. I've had my share of good relationships. I have, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that my biggest issue, if I have to be honest, is that I work a lot.
Yeah.
I'm married to my work.
So do you need a trader? Like
No.
like one of these like
Oh,
single
no.
traders out there watching right now?
No.
Do they need to shoot their shot?
So I've been in relationships where like I have tried, like I'm like, yo, we could make a killing together.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work out that way.
It don't work. So maybe someone that has like similar like responsibilities.
Yes.
And that is hyper focused in their career as well.
Success.
And you both can kind of be each other's like downtime.
I see you breaking it down.
Yeah.
I said no comment.
Listen,
You keep telling everybody.
I did the same thing. So I did the same thing with Charlene, right?
Yeah.
Our second interview, I told her at that time that I just found out my wife's pregnant. Mm-hmm. So I was getting Charlene into baby fever. Like I was getting her excited. She was like, oh, I can't wait for all this, right? Our last interview, now she found someone.
She's booed up.
Yeah, she's booed up now.
Girl.
So I kind of set the foundation, right? Yeah. So I'm setting some foundation right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I am really big on mental stimulation, and people have not turned me on mentally.
I
I'm
like
gonna just
that.
keep it real.
I like that.
I like deep intellectual conversation. I like talking about everything: politics, religion, science, everything. Like I like talking about everything. I like to be educated. I want someone to put me on. I'm tired of putting people on. That's what I do for a living. So I want someone that can teach me, but I can fill their cup too. That's the biggest thing. Is it's here. What do you have here? Obviously, your heart has to be great. So I'm very selective. I'm not picky about I'm not picky like that, but I have standards, and I have settled before and it did not work in my favor. So, when you see you have expectations because you see potential in people, but then they don't deliver, then they're done that. So now my goal is I just want to travel the world with my kids. Like that is literally my priority right now is I want to show them the world. My son has voiced that he wants to travel. He wants to travel, so just got his passport and we're about to make it happen.
Let's go.
Yeah, show him that mommy's been working hard, but this is why I'm working hard. Like, show him there's so much more. There's so much more. So that is my goal. But yeah, everybody's always respectful.
That's dope.
I don't get disrespected. It's only haters, but I don't get disrespected.
Yeah.
I don't. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a boss, Jess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look into that camera, and I want you to do two things. Number one, you've already done it, but if there's any message that you would give a struggling trader right now, throughout this interview, you just added tremendous value, and I'm super appreciative for you. But if a trader's struggling right now, if you can speak to that specific situation, just anything, do that. And then after that, I want you to let everybody know where they can follow you. You've already let us know your website, but reiterate that again. And yeah, go ahead. Floor is yours. Superstar.
Oh my God. I would have to say that in order for you to be successful in trading, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that means you got to be tired of making the same mistakes over and over again. If you haven't gotten there, you haven't reached the pivotal moment of your trading career. Once you've done that, then you start treating trading like a business. You start documenting your trades. You start doing your journaling. You start writing it down, emotions, everything, and apply, implementation. You can't be afraid to pull the trigger on the trade because you're never going to know if it works or not. So you have to hold yourself accountable with the data that you've collected, exercising that data, and then writing the result. Once you have enough written down, you're going to know what works and what doesn't work, and then you capitalize off of that. So that's my advice to you. If you're sick and tired, I know I could give you the whole mental, talk. I'm telling you what to do. Like, just do this. Obviously, take care of your mindset as well. I listen to audiobooks when I'm trading, or I listen to binaural beats for focus. That has changed my life as a trader. It keeps me calm. I would say binaural beats over anything, period. And you can find me on Instagram. I'm stock_Bae, BAE. You can Google Say Yes to Jess, JESS. That's my TikTok and my YouTube. And I don't think I use Twitter too sometimes. It's Say Yes to Jess with an underscore. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Listen,
That's
anytime.
why I talk so much.
No, I mean, this is perfect.
Mouth dry.
This is perfect. Thank you again.
Thank you.
This has been so powerful, and I know so much more is going to come from this.
It's my first one-on-one
I know.
interview.
It definitely won't be your last.
Well,
Trust
you the
me.
first. That's all that matters.
And I appreciate that so much. You're just a superstar. Like,
Thank
seriously.
you. Thank
You're,
you.
You are a superstar. A lot of people are going to resonate with you. And I hope that somebody can say to me one day, Calvin, I watched your sit down with Jess, and I got connected with her, and I was able to, like, turn myself profitable.
They
on
are.
this
It's
journey.
going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode, an amazing episode, Forex Beginner Podcast. It's your boy Calvin here, Jess Ramos in the building. And listen, man, you can do it. I believe in you. And let's be great, all right? So you know the slogan. I look forward to running into you at the bank one day. You cannot meet me there. You got to beat me there when I pull up to the bank. You should be walking out with a duffel bag on your shoulder, a big smile on your face, and that's my funny way of saying I believe we all are going to be successful. Till next time, God bless you. Take care. Holla at you later. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Jess, thank you so much.
That was awesome.
Oh, you
Thank
so
you.
dope. We did it.